Hi friends, my name is Kendra. Today I'm going to be talking about change and how to make the changes and stick with those changes in your life. If you're anything like me, you have at least one area in your life that you want to change or to improve. For me, I've always been the type of person, or ever since I can remember, that has always tried to improve my life, be better than I was in the past. And I found that at times it became overwhelming, and I would often focus on a change and stick with it for a while, and something would happen or I'd get overwhelmed and go back to my bad habits. I've always been, for example, I've always been someone that enjoys being active, working out. In high school, I played sports, and when I got into college, I gained some weight, like many do, and got out of the routine since I wasn't in an organized sport anymore of working out. So I would go through phases of working out and for periods of time, and then get burnout and stop working out and stop sticking to that. And those were just cycles that I was in throughout my adulthood that I just didn't stick with things that I wanted to change in my life. Another thing was my finances. I oftentimes would get into debt and then get myself out of that debt, pay it all off, and then find myself in debt again and years later. So it was just a vicious cycle that I was fighting with more than working with. So I want to share some of the things that I have found helpful to me to stick with my changes in my life that have long impacted some areas of my life. So the biggest thing I think for me, when I look back at some of the change that I just get, there's so many areas, right, in our lives, or maybe that we look at that we want to change and we just expect change to be instant, that, you're going to start working out and in a week you're going to lose that 10 pounds or 5 pounds or whatever. But realistically, it takes time. It takes small habits every day, things that we do every single day to reach that goal or to create this new life. It's a whole different way of thinking and to rewire our brains like this. So for me, what I found too, I often overwhelmed myself with all of the things that I wanted to change. So I would get really motivated, I'm going to change. I want to be a better person. So I'm going to do all of these things. I'm going to, I want to lose weight. I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to eat well. I'm going to save money. I'm going to budget. I'm going to do all of these things. And I would start to do them for a week or a couple weeks, and something would happen and I would just feel like I was a failure. I would miss a day, and then one day would become 2 days and 3 days. And I didn't, instead of keeping going, I would just end up falling back into my old habits. So I decided, when I realized that that was an issue, that I just had so many things that I would fall back into my bad habits, I realized I was not focused enough. I needed to be focused on one thing rather than focusing on 10 things. So for example, if you're focusing on losing weight, there can be a lot of things in your life that you can do to lose weight. So working out is one thing, and being consistent with working out. So if I wanted to lose weight, I would start maybe working out 10 days or 10 minutes a day. Just start little, something achievable every day that you can do. And then add on to that. Then add on to the eating healthy. And if you miss a day, don't beat yourself up on it. So I would get beat up on it I missed yesterday, so it's not a big deal, I'll miss today. And then it would just keep snowballing into that. Don't let yourself miss 2 days in a row. So that's I think I've heard that over and over again. And sometimes life happens and I would miss 3 days, and then I would start continuing to miss. So I rewired my brain with that. Instead of it being 2 days in a row, just get back on the horse. If you miss, just don't miss again, or do anything you can to get back into that as soon as possible, into your routine and going back to that, because the longer that you wait to go back, the harder it is until you get that motivation again. And motivation, it comes and goes. So these things, these small changes, you just want to try and make those small daily habits in your life and get good at that one small thing, and then add something else on. So for me, I was like, I'm gonna lose weight, I'm gonna get healthy, and I just did all of these things, and it just got so overwhelming to try and change everything overnight. But once I found I was doing small things every day, got good at that one thing, or consistent with that one thing, then I would add on another thing of whether it's, if I'm starting off with 10 minutes of working out a day, maybe I'll add double that to 20 minutes a day, or that's when I may start focusing a little bit on my food and what I'm eating. And then also, when I was looking at my food and what I'm eating, even I got overwhelmed with that, with like trying to be perfect at my nutrition and doing everything. I was like tracking my macros, and I got really frustrated quickly when I was going through this, because I was working out and I was eating well and I was tracking my macros and I wasn't losing any weight. And this was going on for like a month, and I got really frustrated. So I gave up because I didn't see anything. I didn't see the change on the scale. And it was just a lot of work. I felt like I was putting in a lot of work, and I maybe lost like 2 or 3 pounds. But I'm like, this wasn't worth the 2 or 3 pounds out. I've been like really strict with myself. I've been doing so good at sticking to what I said I was gonna do. So it felt like it wasn't worth it, because I restricted everything in my life. It felt like not everything in my life, that's a little bit extreme, but I restricted so much. Like I wasn't eating sugar, and I have a sweet tooth. I love sugar. So that was like, it was hard. So then I took a step back after I quit for a little bit. I started again, and instead of focusing on everything with my health, I started with one thing, like one important thing, whether it was protein, like I wanted to make sure to get my protein intake in, or that first meal of the day, making sure I ate within 1 hour of waking up and ate a good, nutritious, healthy meal, got my protein in, then and just once I did that for a while, then added on, to the next thing. So if I started with the breakfast, then I would start adding on the next week, like, okay, now I'm gonna look at my proteins and stick with that. And then I'm gonna look at my fats, and then my calorie count, and just add on to things so that it doesn't feel so overwhelming and like you're giving up everything in your life, and then you feel defeated because you're not seeing the results that you were hoping to see. And give yourself grace. Like, if you want to go eat the ice cream or have a snack or dessert. So sometimes for me, that was like my reward, because I loved sweets so much. So rather than completely taking that out of my diet, I, after a week of doing well with my proteins, and if I didn't have any sweets that week, I would rewarded myself with some ice cream or a sweet snack. So that really helped me get through. But also another point, kind of with these, when you're making changes in your life, trying to make changes, a big piece that helped me a lot was removing the things from your life that you're trying to avoid, whatever it is that it is. So like if we're using this example of losing weight and just get everything, all the food out of your house that is not good for you, that's gonna be the opposite, that's gonna take you further away from your goal. So I just have been so convicted with a lot of things in my life, in my home, of just so many different things that I have removed from my life that wasn't serving me anymore. So with my finances, when I'm still working on finances, that's something, and paying off some debt that I got myself into. So I got rid of my Amazon Prime. So I don't have that desire to go look at Amazon to spend money on things that I don't need to spend money on. So just find those things, whatever it is that you're working on, what you're focusing on, and remove any temptations from your life that is going to like kind of draw you towards or away from reaching that goal. So that really helped me with reaching my goal or getting closer to reaching my goal. And not even if you have, it's good to have goals, but I think it's always, the biggest thing is just making those little changes in your life. And when you don't necessarily reach your goal, you're getting closer to it and just realizing those little things, and take a moment to reflect back on, what you have done and where you have come from and how much it has made you feel better, whether it's, you have more peace, or your clothes feel better, you have more energy if you're working on, if you want to lose weight. Those are some things that I always looked at or thought about when I was losing weight. And it's like, I know people say this a lot, and it's hard to remember, but it really is a marathon. It's not a sprint. It takes a lot of time. Like I always had to remind myself, like, I didn't gain all this weight overnight, or even in a week, or even in a month. It took 6 months to a year, or more. And so it's going to take at least that long for me to see the positive results. It's probably going to take me even longer because I created these bad habits that got me there, and changing habits is really, really hard. People say it's easy. It's simple, but it takes discipline. It takes a lot of discipline and intention every single day, and like being intentional about what you're doing, what you want to change, reflecting on the things in your life that are not serving you, that are not helping you reach this goal. So also think about why you want to make these changes. So sometimes I'd get to the weight, or feel like I was looking better, and then I would fall back into some of my bad habits because like I got that weight where I was at, but then I would gain it again. So really thinking about more than just a number on the scale, because that, for me, it just like, it was a goal. And then once I hit that, I was like, okay, I got there. And then I was like right back where I was because I went back to those bad habits. Then I started to think about like, but why? Why do I want to lose this weight? And it was more than that to me. So I'm a mother, and I want to be around for my child when he grows up. I want to have that energy to be able to play with him and to give him the attention, and to maybe one day be able to play with my grandkids. I want to be healthy. I want this to be something that I can just, so I don't get sick as much, and don't maybe prevent illnesses in the future. So those are all like additional whys on why I wanted to lose weight. So that helps me to continue to work out, to continue to eat healthy, and to continue with this lifestyle change. So rather than, I like to look at it more like a lifestyle change than a goal, because I feel like with a goal, you always have that end point. And with a lifestyle change, it's your life. Like, you're changing your life for a reason, and there's a reason for that. So really thinking about what that reason is. And like, for example, for my finances, I look back, I look at other people and both sides of the spectrum of like people who are really struggling with their finances, and then people who are very wealthy. And I just know that I don't want to struggle and I don't want to be a slave to the debtor. And I want to show my son what it is to how and what it looks like to have or be manage your money or your finances well. So I know that debt is not a good thing. And also with having all this debt, I am not able to spend my money the way that I would like to, or I feel like sometimes I'm working very hard just to pay things off that I don't see. So I would like to be able to use that money to maybe help other people, or for my son to be able to save for him for college, or to provide for him and my family, just to be a good steward of my money. So those are things too. Like I thought about in the past when I would get out of debt and then I got myself back in debt. I forgot my why, and so that's why I would go into debt again instead. And I also compared myself a lot. So instead of focusing on me and my why, sometimes or often I would compare myself with others. And comparison is a thief of joy. Let me tell you. You're always going to find, if you're looking, you're always going to find something more that you want. So when I found contentment with what I had and who I am, that made it so much easier for me also to continue with these goals. And rather than like comparing myself to my friends or people on social media of like what they have, like vacations that they went on, trying to get the next new thing, or like, trends changing with different clothes and things. And I used to love to shop, and I haven't gone shopping in a long time because I've been focusing on paying off my debt. So it's a sacrifice that I've made, but also I know it will pay off in the long run. And one day, once I have my debt paid off, if I want to, but I don't know, it's interesting because my perspective on shopping has changed a lot. But once my debt gets paid off, I know that I can go back and I can shop. But honestly, for me, like lately, since I've made these changes, I just found that I don't have the interest or like want or desire to go shopping as much as I used to. It's kind of funny once you start changing one thing and you actually like stick to it, how it snowballs into other areas in a positive way in your life. So that's a good part to think about when you are reflecting, when you look back on where you're at and what you've done. And sometimes you don't see always the results that you were hoping or thought you might see, but there are positive results from these small habits and small changes that you make in your life. A big thing for me too is planning ahead. So when I was starting to look at my finances, for example, I started to really track my spending and I looked at so I always did like a budget, but I also lived paycheck to paycheck. So I would like get paid, look at what I had to pay this month, pay my bills, the rest of it I would just spend. So then I started to look at it a different way. And for a few months, I tracked my spending and categorized everything that I spent and realized the areas like, whoa, I'm spending a lot of money. Like I was spending a lot of money on supplements. That was an area, and that was something that I felt like, oh, this is good for my health because I'm trying to be a healthy person. Like I need all these supplements, but honestly, like I was spending anywhere from $300 to $500 a month on supplements. And once I started to step back, or once I looked at that and saw that number, I was like, wow, that's a lot of money that I could be putting towards my debt. And also like what are all these things that I'm taking? Like, did I really see a difference? Did I really feel a difference when I started taking these things? And some of the things like I would find on social media or influencers would post things and all these benefits, and I just thought back to myself, like, did I remember really feeling a difference after taking these for a while? And as I stopped taking things and stopped buying them, I realized most of them I didn't feel any different at all with taking them. So just kind of take a look at that and in your life, what things, so that's just another example of things that I removed from my life that didn't have a benefit. Actually, having it in my life was taking away from a different goal that I had. So plan ahead and take a look at what, like if you know your, let's see, for example, this month, it was a very expensive month. My expenses were really high this month because of childcare with the school year and things, and the way that my son's school bills, it was basically paying double this upcoming month. So I looked at my finances with this and planned ahead and looked at where I'm going to be spending my money. So kind of going back to, sorry, bouncing around here, going back to when I reviewed all my finances, how and where I was spending money. And then I started to be more proactive in planning these things. What areas, where am I going to spend my money? And then with that extra money that I do have, where is that going to go? That's towards my debt. So like this month, like I was saying, it's been a heavier month, so not as much is going to go towards my debt because I have more to pay in childcare with my son. So with me just having those, like, that peace of mind and being prepared ahead of time, like in the past, the way I was going, if I would have gotten to this month and like, honestly, I would have been like, I don't have money to pay for this because I don't make enough money to pay double child support, or not child support, but double child care in 1 month. So, but in the past, I was planning ahead. So like last month, I knew that this was coming because I was actually planning ahead. So I had carried over money from last month to cover some of the childcare expenses for this month. When it comes to like, if for example, you're trying to lose weight or be healthier, just planning like when you're gonna work out. If your focus is workout, like when, in the morning, first thing when I wake up. For me, it was either first thing in the morning, get my 10 minutes in, or sometimes I work from home. I would take a 10 or 15-minute break and do a workout, or on my lunch break, get a workout in, go for a walk. Or, with your food, plan ahead what you're gonna eat. Make sure you have the good food in your house that you want to eat and what you want to stick with, things that you like. If you are going out to dinner, plan ahead, take a look at the menu, where you're gonna go and pick something that is healthy. Or for me, with my finances right now, I'm not eating out as much. But I also, it's unrealistic. Be realistic too. Like, this is a big thing, like what works for you. Because for me, being a single mom, busy, I work full time, I'm on the go all the time. So for me to say 100% I'm never gonna eat out, that's unrealistic. Like, I have to give myself some grace. With us being on the go so much, I made room for that in the budget. But I mean, I'm sure I probably could figure out meal plans that I can take on the go and plan ahead, but I'm just not there yet. Like, I have so much other things going on in my life that I'm just being realistic where I can. Maybe once I get to that point in my goals, I may get more strict on some of those things with just making more at home and being more things that is easy on the go food for us to take. So just give yourself grace, be realistic with what your life looks like, what you can do, what you can't do. Just make those small changes, small daily changes, something little every day. Be patient because it's a marathon. It takes time, but also like give yourself little rewards for weekly, monthly, whatever it is to keep you motivated, because motivation, again, it goes away, and it's hard to stay motivated when you have so many different things and you feel like a failure, if you feel like you're not doing what you want to do. But just having those little things that you can stick with, that's realistic for you to stay focused on those. And if you miss a day, if you miss 2 days, if you miss 3 days, just don't give up. Go back. As soon as you can, go back to that goal or to that habit, to that thing that you chose that you were gonna do. Because the longer that you wait to go back to it, the harder it is gonna be to get back to it. So I hope you found some value in this. Stick with it. It's not easy, it's simple, but it will be worth it, and you can do it.